years old, and he just won't grow up.
I'll get there someday.
You probably know someone.
You've said this, it's the best years of your life. Why would you want them to be 4?
Who's just like him.
He has a fear of not only commitment to women, but commitment to graduating and like everything in general.
Dr. Keith schools this Peter Pan on the real world.
I don't want to miss these good times with my friends.
And yet, we do know you're missing things.
Today on Dr. Keith Abloh.
Many 20 and 30-somethings are afraid of the very same thing. You know what it is? It's called growing up. An estimated 18.6 million young adults are living at home out of fear of their own independence, and we met one who's decided to stay in college for, get this, 13 years. He doesn't want to leave. Take a look. There's a new social phenomenon plaguing young adults everywhere. They're called twixters, millions of modern-day Peter Pans that feel trapped between adolescence and adulthood.
I think it's genius.
Twixters tend to postpone graduation,
That's why I switched my majors 3 times.
resist leaving the family nest, and shun steady employment.
So that's how we have fun. And other people are working.
Perhaps no one wears this twixter label more proudly than Wisconsin's own Johnny Lechner.
This is the greatest day of my life!
I'm 30 years old. I'm in college. Some people have a problem with it.
Who's taking the big shot? Who's taking the little shot?
This is my 13th year. I'll graduate with a triple major, triple minor. Areas of emphasis are theater, communications, women's studies, education, liberal studies, and health.
After meeting Johnny, I think I might stick around school for a while.
This is kind of like the dream team that we've been working like maybe 10 years assembling.
You just doing what you enjoy, which is going to class.
You know, why bounce out of this to get to the real world when I could do this a little bit longer?
It's the lifestyle. The females not working 40 hours a week. Maybe they'll stretch it out to 5 or 6 more years.
I kept hearing from my friends that had graduated, they were like, oh, 4-day weekend. I'm like, I've been living a 4-day weekend for 13 years. I am the most educated undergraduate in the world. And there is not a doubt in my mind that the college years are the best years.
Please welcome Johnny. Johnny, 13 years. What's going on? You love it? You're scared of the outside world? What's happening?
Well, I mean, as you can see from the clip, we're having a pretty good time. We've been having pretty much that much fun, even a little bit more each year. And, I feel like, I'm 30 years old, and I feel like even if I would have followed that normal path where you go to school, you graduate, fall in love, get married, I still feel like there are a lot of 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds that are still kind of wondering, like, what am I doing with my life? What is this? What is going to make me happy? And I think I found something.
What do you love about school?
Well, I think what I've done is find a really good balance. I really get a lot of enjoyment out of the social side of college. The going out, the partying, the playing basketball with the friends, the having people over to grill out. But combine that with the academic side. Sometimes something that gets lost a lot in this story is that, I do have about 300 credits. I am the most educated undergraduate in the world.
Well, I was looking at some of your fields of study, right? So, liberal studies, theater and communications, women's studies? Like, don't women usually take women's studies? I mean, they did when I was in school.
Yeah, well, and they did when I started, and, who knows, maybe I'm, kind of blazing a new path. It's just something I kind of got interested in a few years back and added it.
So are you worried about yourself, or are you, look, you know what, I'm the luckiest guy in the world? Where are you on that spectrum between I'm the luckiest guy in the world and, oh my God, there's something wrong with me?
Way towards the lucky side. This lifestyle, I mean, I can't even describe it enough. I wake up and I'm like, wow, today is going to be a great day. We've got people coming over. I'm going to go to a couple classes.
Tell me about the girls. The girls like you a lot. I mean, you are 30. I mean, think about it. If you just, kind of think about it. He's a 30-year-old guy living with 18 to 22-year-olds. Do they like you a lot? Do they think of you as weird? Like, which is it?
Well, it's odd.
Or both?
Well, within the last couple years, Well, I mean, even back, about 6 years ago, they made, make a movie about a guy who's going to school all these years, and then we get all this extra media attention, and, that kind of snowballs into, a local celebrity kind of atmosphere, even at the university, in the state, even getting national attention. So that kind of, that softens the edges on where some people might think, man, this guy's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
But, I'm so young at heart, and, the lifestyle that I do live, I'm not out partying with 18 and 19 and 20-year-old girls. Maybe I'm throwing a large party at my house, or maybe I'm at another party, and they just happen to be there.
But let's be honest, right? Because we're going to have one of your former girlfriends on the show later. And she says one of the toughest parts is that the young girls hang all over you. So are you being modest or humble or telling me that you're there to learn when you're really there for the freshmen?
No, not at all. I really am there to learn.
To learn.
But
300 credits, Johnny. I mean, women's studies, health, education, communications, theater.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
When you put that on your resume, right, aren't they going to say, like, yes, 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 come on, let's work, but then you got to work.
Well, I'm excited. I mean, that's the thing. I've been very successful in college. I mean, another thing that's not listed there is, I haven't gone, I want a stretch of like 8 years where I didn't get a grade lower than a B. Charity work and service work. So
You're
I'm
good
not,
at college.
Definitely,
You're good at college.
Definitely.
Okay, how many people here, if they had the opportunity to have looked, if you look back, would you have liked to have stayed in college a few years longer if it was allowed? Raise your hands if you feel that way. Look, I mean, you've got...
Yeah, don't be shy,
You've got people on your side. You've said this. It's the best years of your life. Why would you want them to be 4? How about, say, 13? In his case, right?
And that's how it started. I think even when I was in high school getting all excited about college, and everyone's always saying, these are the best years of your life, these college years. And, I have this theory where you're always you always want it going upwards. You want your best year to be your next year.
I know. No, I get that. And that's one of the things I want to talk to you about when we come back. Because if they're the best years of your life, does that mean it has to be that the next years are worse? Only if you really believe that the next years are going to be downhill. But let's talk about that, because when we come back, we're going to meet Johnny's parents. They can't even agree on whether it's okay for him to stay in college, well, for another few years. Stay with us.
Coming up, a father convinced his son is purposely avoiding grown-up responsibilities in the real world.
Majors, minors, Dr. Keith, 300 credits. He's a man now.
And later, Johnny gets support from his loyal friends.
I don't judge Johnny by what he's choosing to do as far as college, but he's just an awesome friend. He's one of my best friends.